Hey everybody, Aristotel Dascal here from GoStartup.io. In today's video, I want to show you a way to save money on your development, on product management, on marketing, on support, all of them at the same time with just one tweak. Now, I've seen this in many companies, and I've implemented this for many of my clients. It was a little bit difficult in the beginning for them because it's a little change that needs to be made across multiple departments in the company, but definitely is going to save a lot of time and a lot of money. But the best thing of all is that it brings alignment and removes a lot of confusion. Let me tell you what I mean by that. So in the beginning, in the customer discovery, right when you're starting working with your potential customers and understand what they want, before you even start developing a software for your customers, in this discovery phase, when you're just starting talking to your potential customers, as you talk to them, as you have interviews, as you understand what their problems are, what their needs are, you're starting to build into you're starting to come up with a solution, like a concept for how would a solution look like for their problems. And when you visualize that solution in your mind, you're thinking about what will that customer have to do, what are the actions that he's going to have to take in your solutions. Like, for example, what would be those features that they will have to take? Let's say that it's an application for, I had a call today with an entrepreneur and founder, and he's building an application for beauty salons. And let's say that you talk to users that want to find out curated beauty salons, and you talk to those women or men or whomever wants to identify properly curated beauty salons. And you know that what they want is that, one, they are curated. They want to go to a place where they can filter by location. So these are called features later on in an application, or in the discovery phase, when you're just starting to talking to your customers and doing interviews, you call them jobs. Or jobs to be done. Jobs to be done. And you're making a list of those. The customer wants to filter based on location. The customer wants to filter based on price. The customer wants to wants to filter based on rating. The user that wants to go and find these beauty salons wants to automatically see on his profile just what is on a 50-mile radius. Automatically, he doesn't want to go and filter. By default, it needs to be that. So you're making a list of all these things that user, your target customer, has to do in the solution that you're trying to brainstorm. Now, later on, let's say that you finished the discovery phase, you've talked to the customer, you've built prototype, you went out there. Yes, it's exactly what they want. It's exactly what they need. And then you start building later on, don't hurry up, later on you're starting building that software application, an MVP, very small with just a few features, and then you continue and you iterate on it, right? You validate that it's indeed a useful feature, and step by step, you're actually building, as you're starting developing, you're building the requirements, or other way called features. Or for the development team, they are called stories or epics. It's pretty much the same thing. What I'm trying to say here is that the same jobs, the same list of features you captured here, you're going to be reusing it, and you're going to type it inside the development tracking tool, where the developers are going to see it, see the description, and start working on it. So then this is basically a second place where you're going to see pretty much the same thing. Well, of course, they're getting polished right here based on input, and then you're basically improving the jobs to be done with the actual development features. But let's continue later, right? The product is out there, is launched at a point, and then there's support. Then there's support tickets at a point. Customers come and say, oh, there's a bug over there, and there's a bug over there. And they instead of them just pinging you an email or just chatting you, you may want to use something like Zendesk to capture those tickets. But you want to capture those tickets and organize them based on where is that issue, where is that bug, under what functionality here, right? So you're, again, in your support tool, you're going to be using, again, the same features from here. It's just most companies don't reuse them. They just build it all over again. They just duplicate it again, right? Again, so in the discovery, then in the development, then in the support, they are building again and again, over and over again, duplicating basically the same list. Then it goes to request. What does this mean? Let's say that some of your, I don't know, most valuable customers or any customer that you care about or that you offer a higher level tier or whatever, they come up with requests and they say, you know what, it's not necessarily a bug. It's like, I would like if your application would do this, and I would like if you do that. And yeah, the product owner looks into it, sees if it's a valid request, if it makes sense, and then it puts it on the roadmap. But again, some of these requests most probably are going to be little parts of these epics or these little stories or changes to them or improvements to them. So again, rather than just making a brand new list here, you would rather make a reference to the same list. So what does that mean? Let me just give you an example how that would work. For example, you have your product built, and then on the development, you have a few improvements now that you want to make, and you're creating development tasks. Now, for each of those development tasks, you can make a reference to the core requirements list, and you can say, this little feature that we're building here is part of that functionality that we have in our product. It's a change in the way that we filter our list of beauty salons. So the feature, because that would be basically the core list, would be the features list. Let's call it the features list, the core one, which I'm trying to tell you that you should move everything towards that and make reference to it rather than duplicate it all over the place. So development task is going to say, okay, we need to change this filter, or we need to add something to that filter, right? It references the filter feature in our product. And then a support comes in and a ticket and say, okay, for I don't know, whatever browser, in this situation when the screen is smaller, that filter is broken and it crashes. Again, when you create a bug, you make a reference to this feature. And then requests. I want to add another component, another field to be able to filter by. Let's say, again, you make a reference to that feature. Now, why is that really helpful? Just one, it's because you don't duplicate everything, right? You just have a single point of reference. Even if maybe you want to copy it later for other purposes, it still is so much cleaner and easier to have just one list of features that you're basically using across all of these components. Now, there's one more thing that I didn't put in. I want to put it right now, and that is knowledge base. Now, what is a knowledge base? A knowledge base is when a user is starting using your application and they have questions. How does this work? How does this work? How does this work? Right? And then again, when they go to this knowledge base, basically they can be directed, or the knowledge base can basically contain exactly this: the features and how are they supposed to be working. And I would say, in a way, that list of features that is being referenced, this is the main home for it. It would be basically around the knowledge base. This is the one where the user is looking at, and this is also helping everybody else internal here make sure that when they create references, when they create tasks, when they create support items, whatever, they have in mind something that is facing the user, a functionality, or how is it affecting the end user, always in mind. Now, why is this helpful? Well, for example, like, I think that all of people that I've worked with, all the founders that I've worked with, are way behind with the knowledge base, way behind. Customer comes and he's asking questions on chat, how do you do that? And how do you do this? And there are very few companies that actually have a really good knowledge base so that they don't have to ask questions. It's everything very explanatory, everything has videos or whatever, right? And for example, I implemented with a few companies this approach. Whenever there's a development task, let's say that it comes from a support or from a request, there's a new feature that they want to add or a slight change. It goes into the development task list, and at the end of the development, there might be actually, there's development, there's QA, there's approval or user acceptance testing, and there I actually use this for all my clients. Here's updates into the documentation. Now what does this do is it updates the technical documentation for the architecture of the product, and it updates the functional specifications and documentations for the end customer. So if this is done, then your knowledge base is always up to date. So try in whatever you do in these departments, whenever you have something that references a feature or functionality in your product, to have just a single list, and everything would point to that. And my personal suggestion would be that should be created in such a way that it's viewable as a knowledge base towards the user, visible. You can make it Google Doc, you can create Jira tickets, you can create Zendesk, because everything in Zendesk is going to have a link, a URL, and you can attach that one, Jira tickets, Zendesk, bookmark or heading in a Google Doc. You can attach it to development tasks. You can reference it and integrate it with support, and it's going to go into those categories over there. Requests, AHA has great integration, for example, a product management tool. Anyways, I hope that this is helpful, and the main goal here is try not to duplicate work. Try not to be behind because you've modified somewhere but you didn't modify somewhere else. It's confusing and it costs you a lot of money. Anything that saves you time spent explaining to customer, explaining to new developers that are ramping up on your product, explaining to new support hires, is going to save you so much time and money. And I would say most of all, it's going to save you a headache. That's crazy frustrating when you have to do all that. Okay, keep that in mind. Ping me if you need any help with it. You're going to see a link here where you can book a call with me and you can talk about it if you have issues with anything around implementing these type of tips in your business. Aristotel Dascal here from GoStarter.io, and I hope you're going to have a great day. See you guys. Bye-bye.